Hello, YouTube. Welcome to another episode of Voice Acting Coaching. We've got a new guest here today, and we are working with a new piece of dialogue. So, my lovely guest, can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Tyler, and hopefully we can get some good work done today.
I'm going to have you read the line of dialogue that you chose for us today, not perform it, just read it. And then you will tell us about the character that you created, the scene that you might have created, and your 3 adjectives for your character's personality. So, for my folks who are just joining us for the first time, I have a range of scripts that I've written that I have our guests choose from. They pick a line of dialogue, they create a character and a scene up to their imagination, and they choose 3 words or adjectives that describe the personality. I have them pick those adjectives because that's how I function. I'm a words person, and so I find it easier to work with adjectives and words, and so I let guests do that as well as a bouncing off point. But go ahead, my friend, and tell us the line and all about your character.
You can't run away from me. No matter where you go, I will find you, and I will have my revenge. As far as the character goes, the line kind of brought to mind someone who has just been betrayed, which is one of the adjectives I had chosen. Someone who is actively being betrayed and possibly left behind. So the envisionment was someone left unable to chase after their comrades who just betrayed them and are now leaving them for dead. And so they are calling after them, attempting to just let out some of the pent-up anguish and the passion they feel. The other 2 adjectives we have: betrayal, passionate, and anguished.
So I like the concepts of this one, and I think it's going to be fun to play with someone's scorned, and not just like scorned, like there's been past history, but literally in the moment is being like messed with. I love that. A very immediate reaction versus something that's thought about and dwelt on and built. It's kind of just like bursting forward. All right, so whenever you're ready, go for it.
You can't run away from me! No matter where you go, I will find you, and I will have my revenge!
I'm gonna ask you right off the bat, what did it feel like? What were you thinking? What were all the thoughts and the emotions and the feelings of this character in the moment?
It honestly kind of took me a second to really get the flow going. The first line kind of came out, and from there, the passionate part of it, the emotion, started to grow a bit.
I hear you in saying that it took a second to like really jump and dive into sort of that passion that comes into this character, and that makes sense, right? Because the backstory and the sort of plot that you put around this line happens to be in like the middle of an emotion and of a situation. So that's going to be hard to just jump into because we're kind of jumping in right in the center, not before, not after, like, whoo. I always like to talk and develop sort of the surroundings and the character and the scene that you've built. So let's be a bit more specific, because something that can really help us dive into emotions, dive into feelings, especially ones like these that are right front in the center and just sort of an emotional reaction versus a logical reaction. Specificity can help with that, because what it's doing is it's taking all of these little bits and pieces that were like, this character feels this way and thinks this way and does like this and blah, 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 and it sort of like narrows it down and channels it to one emotion. Are we saying this is like warrior on a battlefield type of betrayed, or is he being left for dead, or what kind of betrayal are we talking here?
I think we can go with warrior on a battlefield. Like, actively has been betrayed by his comrade in arms, and now he's being left behind, left for dead.
Let's create somebody who is the person that is betraying you. How do you know them?
Not like a brother, but someone akin to a brother. Someone he's known for some time that makes the betrayal that much deeper. Someone he thought he could trust. Someone he thought he could put himself with on the battlefield and could lean on for support, and now suddenly he's been left, cut down by this person he thought he could so blindly go along with.
So brother in arms type of scenario, right?
Mhm.
And that's why they call them brother in arms, is because you get so close, you get so, like attached that they are like family. So even if they're not in reality, basically is someone very close to them. If your warrior on a battlefield, right, is he joining the enemy? Is he realizing the fight's losing and he's running away? What exactly is he doing that's betrayal?
The side he is on has bought this betrayal from the brother in arms. So he has been essentially just bought out by the good side, the side that they are supposed to be on, to dispose of, to deal with the character in question. The side that this character is fighting for wanted to dispose of him for some reason or another. So the side that he is actively fighting for either thought he knew too much about something, thought that he was a danger to them somehow, and so they persuaded his brother-in-arms to deal with the issue.
Oh, okay.
And so the betrayal is all that much more sudden.
Okay, we're talking like Caesar, like mutiny style.
Yes.
Oh, I love it. This is a lot more personal than, I switch sides. Oh, they, do what. This is a motherfucker who was like your second in command, supposed to be with you the whole time. Never in a million years you would have bet your whole family's lives that he would never have betrayed you. Like the people who mean the most to him, the people who are like everything under the sun, you know what I mean? The people where you would get insulted if somebody came to warn you that he was gonna betray you, you'd be like, he would never. So let's hone in on that idea of personal. This is not about who you're fighting for. This is not about what side you're on. This is not about the battle. This is personal betrayal. So I want you to do the line again, but really take a moment to breathe before you say this line and recognize, realize, visualize that person in front of you and the fact that it is them and only them, as far as you're concerned, betraying you in this moment. Whenever you're ready, go for it.
You can't run away from me. No matter where you go, I will find you. And I will have my revenge.
Yeah, that was good. As a listener, there was a big jump from the first one, which I know I just threw you in, but the first one was definitely more like, evil entity that has betrayed my trust. I will come after you. And this one was very much like, no, you specific. Like it was very like pointed and targeted. And we knew that you were talking to one person versus a collective you. It was a singular you, literally. How did you feel about that version? Did it help? Did it feel any more personal? Did it enhance what you were trying to do?
Felt it a lot more in the cheeks.
Ooh, okay.
I definitely felt a little more in it from the get-go. I took a moment to kind of close my eyes and really like think about the situation for a second, and it definitely helped visualize the feeling a bit better.
But it's funny that you had like the warmth in your cheeks and a bit of like heating it up, because that is where it would be. This emotion is face. That's all this emotion is. Now, for some people, it might resonate a little bit in the chest, right? Because that's where your tension is. For some folks, you might have a little bit more tension in the body. It depends how like explosive you are. Most of it is going to come to here because it's so sudden. This isn't an I'm angry and I have a reason to be angry and I've been angry all day and now I'm bursting. It's a what? Like it's all up here. The emotion being sudden, being strong, and I want to add a bit of shock to this emotion. I want you to try again, add a bit of shock, and let's see if it changes anything up, okay?
Okay.
All right, whenever you're ready, go for it.
You can't run away from me. No matter where you go, I will find you, and I will have my revenge.
Yes! Yeah, that was awesome. Oh my gosh, I love the way the shock stopped you from talking. But it's okay if it forces us to pause. It's okay if it forces us to stutter. It's okay if it forces us to trip, right? And so I love the shock you added at the beginning because it was a genuine moment of we were recognizing the person as you recognize the person, which was really cool because the previous one was like you had already done the recognition, and so we were here for your anger. But this version, we were realizing it with you. How did that feel different for you from this version with the shock to the previous one with just the anger?
It definitely, from the moment I paused in the beginning, it definitely brought forward like the stutter throughout a little harder to get out as opposed to just anger. Because I think I stuttered around and I will have my revenge as well. It was just like they couldn't believe they were having to say it. Like it was kind of hard to say almost.
You've touched on another thing that I really like. It's almost as if it's hard to say. Because it is hard to say, but there's also a bit of sadness. There's a bit of like, for all intents and purposes, I loved this person. This person was my brother. This person was like somebody who I I would take a bullet for this guy. And to have all of those emotions flowing at once, we've got the anger, we've got the shock, and now I want to play with adding in that sadness. So at any point during this dialogue, have that moment of genuine despair, like a little bit of sadness, a little bit of heartbreak. So whenever you're ready, go for it.
You can't run away from me. No matter where you go, I will find you, and I will have my revenge.
That was really good. I'm going to ask you first, how did that feel different?
Sadness is actually one of the emotions I struggle with the most. It's just difficult for me to convey that with my voice. But it definitely gave me a bit more pause when I decided to attempt to go into the sadness, because it brings the anger down in a weird way, but doesn't get rid of it.
When you were noting about it muting your anger, I think it's less of muting, and I hesitate to think about it that way, and I think of it more as it's almost fuel to the fire. Let's think of that sadness as the fuel, and then the anger comes when you light that fuel. The anger is a response. It's a retaliation. It's a reaction, not from, oh, I'm angry because you did this thing, from the sadness. Because your first one you hit is going to be, how could you? And then you hit, how could you? Also had a bit of the pacing and the slowness that sadness can bring, where you thought, rather than just yelling and punching that anger does. But try and do shock, sadness, anger. Whenever you're ready, give it a shot.
You can't run away from me. No matter where you go, I will find you, and I will have my revenge.
Ooh, how did that one feel?
It was certainly a little more dynamic, a lot more up and down.
You changed from I will have my revenge to I will have my revenge. Will became your emphasis word in that last line that it hasn't always been doing throughout the previous ones. As a listener, when you were doing it, I could hear the sudden need to get your point across and not feeling like you were being heard. In this moment of you being betrayed, you felt like you needed to get a point across to your betrayer, which is kind of crazy in a logical sense, because in reality, all you should be thinking is like, I'm gonna kill you, time to stab. But your character, for whatever reason, is like, no, you need to know that we're done here. And you're no longer on my brother in arms list, you are on my enemy list, and you are number one. It was a beautiful sort of mix of the sadness getting the point across, the heartbroken getting the point across. If you had to, pick anything that maybe you wanted to play with, whether it's technical, whether it's vocal, whether it's emotional, what do you feel like maybe you could change or mess with in this piece?
Well, I know I had gone for a more aggressive approach, but I could see also running on the more somber theme of things, going for angry but calm. I think is the best way to describe it. Like someone who
Yes.
is so lost in the moment, in the feeling, they can't even feel the like disgust that would come with it. That kind of
Determined, cold,
determined, cold, yeah.
detached. Let's play with this somber, detached, a little cold style of reaction.
Mhm.
Because there are three different styles of like reactions, right? There's fight, there's flight, and there's shock. So there's this idea of I'm fighting against this thing that's occurring, there's flight, I'm leaving against this thing that's occurring, and there's just sort of I can't even process what is occurring. And that's kind of what you're talking about in my vein of thinking. So let's play with this idea that you're the type of character who doesn't process this in the moment. This is too much for you to conceptualize, for your brain, for your heart to be able to take. There can still be a feeling, but I don't want to assign what the feeling is. I don't want to say be angry, be shocked, be sad. I want to see what comes to you. Then whenever you're ready, go for it.
You can't run away from me. No matter where you go, I will find you. And I will have my revenge.
Ooh, that one was definitely a lot more cold, a lot more straightforward. How did that feel? Did any emotions come up? Was there anything specific that came into your head?
I think if I had to use a word to describe the feeling I kind of got from it is less like a flash of anger, but just cold hate.
Ooh.
Like just I'm not even mad at you. I can't view you. You are just lower than dirt. Just nothing.
I like what you said about it too. I think one of my favorite things about doing, lines and creating characters and playing is that we can do multiple different versions. We can be the heartbroken, we can be the angry, we can be the cold. And they're all different versions, sometimes of the same character, just with different styles of reaction and different styles of, like personality and hitting things. So I like playing with all these different types. I want to try an exercise that I love to do, and I do this a lot, so frequent viewers of the show will know. I want you to do this line of dialogue in the exact way you should not do it. Exact opposite of what we've been doing, but whatever the exact wrong way of doing it means to you, I want you to do it. I want you to go full force with it. Don't hold back.
I have, an idea, but I'm trying to detach my idea from something that still sounds kind of right.
Nope, no right.
So I'm trying to detach that from the correct answer here.
I love to watch people squirm. So I'm just like, do the worst, absolute incorrect, wrong thing that almost makes you want to gag. It's
Okay,
so
never
wrong
mind.
for this character.
I found a new answer, and I like this one better.
Okay, all right, whenever you're ready, give me the new answer.
You can't run away from me. No matter where you go, I will find you. And I will have my revenge.
What is that one? What was your idea?
I was trying to go, I was like, well, angry, how about happy? But my brain could not detach the, like, psychotic, like,
Yeah.
almost Joker-esque glee from it. I
Yeah.
was like, no, that's not, no, what's the next thing? And I was like, no, just nothing. Blah. Doesn't even care. It's fine. It's whatever.
Straight
This happens all the
apathetic.
time.
I love this apathetic, no emotion, horrible, horrible version of this character. And I am glad that you did not go happy psychotic, because that definitely would have been too good.
Well,
So-
I was trying to, like, think about it, and I was like, yeah, you could say this in a happy way, but the way that I interpret it as happy, it starts to sound
Yeah.
like the happy psychotic, not just happy about it, but like, it starts to sound
Villainous.
crazy
Yeah.
and not, the wrong answer, just a different answer.
Correct.
But the apathetic,
And that's exactly what I go for in this exercise is we don't want a different answer that could be right, which was your original thought process with the happy psychotic. We want the answer that makes it goes, no. Like anything that makes us go, oh, I don't want to do that. That does not feel right is what we want. So for this, apathetic, truly. But what that tells us is that This character, whatever emotion they're feeling it strongly. Maybe they're feeling everything at once. Maybe they're feeling solely one, but he can't not be feeling because that is the wrong version of this character. Let's try. I want to do it for fun. Give me the happy psychotic one.
You can't run away from me. No matter where you go, I will find you, and I will have my revenge.
Talk to me about happy psychotic. Why does it feel kind of different, right? Like maybe it's not quite what we're building, but not necessarily wrong. What is this medium point?
I mean, it gives me just psychotic, wacko, supervillain-esque shtick, if you will. And so you hear it all over the place, and so it's kind of easy to fall into. You just imagine the same vibe as those kind of characters, those preconceptions, and it just kind of goes.
And maybe that's a bit of why it feels different but not quite right, is because it's such a put on type of personality almost versus genuinely like in there and in our feelings like little actors. I would argue that it's okay to feel a genuine response of happy while playing this character. Now, the one we're going with is very like heartbreaky, very angry, very shocky versus necessarily happy. But I do want to add something that's in the happy family. I want to try adding a feeling of relief, as if you have been seeing signs for however long that this person is going to betray you, and you just keep telling yourself, no, it must be nothing. I must be overthinking. It can't be true. They would never do that. But there's that part of you that has
The doubt.
Yes, the doubt. So them betraying you, there's a little bit of like, maybe it's relief, maybe there's a different word that settles better, but some part of you is recognizing the fact that maybe it's I was right, maybe it's finally I don't have to worry anymore, I don't have to second guess myself, the doubt is gone. Whatever that emotion and feeling is, add that into this original mix of your character and see what it pulls forth. Whenever you're ready, give it a shot.
You can't run away from me. No matter where you go, I will find you, and I will have my revenge.
Oh, what was that? What kind of things were being stirred up for that one?
I was struggling a little bit at first with like where to put the relief, and then it actually made itself a little more clear on just the shock of you, and then almost like turning to see who it was, and then seeing exactly who it was, and the you, like you've settled this is who it was, and then from there you're able to build into the other emotions we had kind of already established a little bit.
It's the doubt being realized. It's finally the weight is off your shoulders. Whatever that culminated as flavored the rest of the anger and the rest of the line. The last part, and I will have my revenge, became and I, period, will have my revenge, period. So they became like two separate sentences in the middle of that sentence, and it was really cool. It felt natural, at least listening wise. And it was like you were pushing out that last sentence really fast, the will have my revenge, but it worked because it felt as if the person you were talking to was like running. There's action happening here in the words that you're saying.
I think the last way I could really see this dialogue going is not just, casting this line at someone as they leave you, but like as you leave them from this mortal coil, i.e., I envision kind of the last bit of it beginning to peter out. Like it starts with high passion and aggression, and then it just begins to die because you're dying, or at least like going unconscious or not able to hold on to the aggression you feel, the betrayal. You just feel the numb beginning to overtake.
Give it to me first, and then let's talk about it. Whenever you're ready, give me your interpretation.
You can't run away from me. No matter where you go, I will find you, and I will have my revenge.
What did that one feel like?
A little more struggle making it through the words is kind of where I was trying to put my thoughts. And as I put myself in that position again, I kind of like felt the aggression come out, and I still think I maybe went a little strong at the end, but I could feel the stammer coming on, I'm not quite holding on anymore, like knife in your gut, leaning against the ground as you're being left behind.
Pick a point where you stop seeing the person in front of you, and you're now just kind of like, these are the words, this is the curse. Like, genuinely, it is something that you are leaving upon this person to wreak havoc. These are your final words. It is no longer like, someone stabbed me, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna find you, I'm gonna kill you. It's, this is your fate. I am destiny.
Gotcha.
And I'm calling it down from the heavens, because they might connect a little bit and take some of that force that you're feeling is a little too strong still. It might take it away a little. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and try it.
You can't run away from me. No matter where you go, I will find you, and I will have my revenge.
Good. Do it again. Even more so, they're gone. This is just a statement now.
You can't run away from me. No matter where you go, I will find you, and I will have my revenge.
Ooh, I like that one. That one's so mysterious almost, and it had this aspect of almost reveling in defeat. Very cool. It was very calm, collected. Thank you for watching another episode of Voice Acting Coaching. My lovely guest, can you remind people of your name and where they can find you?
Tyler Bland, and you can find me at ThatBlandMan on Twitter.
Okay, my friends, as always, links will be in the description below. You can join us on Monday and Wednesdays, 9 p.m. EST, to catch these episodes live. All right, my friends, goodbye!